Today is Wednesday, October 2nd. This is Noreen Johnson, and here are the good news headlines of the day. On Tuesday, at the one and only vice presidential debate before Election Day, the first half was heavy on policy disagreements, but light on personal attacks. Democrat Tim Walz and Republican J.D. Vance clashed over the Middle East crisis, immigration, taxes, climate change, and energy. The two rivals, who have savaged each other on the campaign trail, largely avoided going after each other, but instead saved their fire for their candidates at the top of their tickets, Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris and Republican former President Donald Trump. Vance questioned why Harris had not done more to address inflation, immigration, and the economy while serving in President Joe Biden's administration. Political analysts say that vice presidential debates can be fiery, but generally do not alter the outcome of an election. That said, even a slight shift in public opinion could prove decisive, with the race on a razor's edge just 5 weeks before Election Day. Former President Donald Trump slammed President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris Tuesday following Iran's large-scale missile attack on Israel, saying that the administration had shown no leadership. Iran fired approximately 200 ballistic missiles at Israel in retaliation for Israel killing the leaders of the Hamas and Hezbollah terrorist organizations. Trump said this: "The world is on fire and spiraling out of control. We have no leadership, no one running the country. We have a non-existent president in Joe Biden and a completely absent Vice President Kamala Harris, who is too busy fundraising in San Francisco, a city which she and Gavin Newsom totally destroyed, and staging fake photo ops. No one is in charge, and it's not even clear who is more confused, Biden or Kamala." Trump added that when he was president, he had Iran pinned in a box where its economy was in ruin because of the crushing sanctions he leveled against the country due to its support for terrorism. He said Iran prefers Harris win the election this fall, pointing to the country's attempts to assassinate him, which have been documented by the U.S. intelligence community and federal law enforcement officials. And then this: vice presidential candidates J.D. Vance and Tim Walz clashed on their issue of immigration in their debate Tuesday night, and Vance called out the immigration policies of VP Kamala Harris, saying this: "First of all, the gross majority of what we need to do to the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job." These words were spoken during a discussion on the Haitian migrant surge in Springfield, Ohio, and immigration overall. Vance said, "I've been to the southern border more than our border czar, Kamala Harris, has been. And it's actually heartbreaking because the Border Patrol agents, they just want to be empowered to do their job. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim, and I actually think," he said, "I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does." Vance referred to the Biden-Harris record on immigration as a disgrace. Vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance slammed his opponent Tim Walz on Tuesday night over Minnesota laws that no longer protect babies who survive abortions. Vance pointed out that Walz, as governor of Minnesota, repealed a bipartisan measure that formerly required doctors to report whether abortions resulted in the live birth of a baby, what actions were taken to preserve the life of that baby, and whether the baby survived. Walz's action also stripped the state's requirement that measures be taken to preserve the baby's life and health, replacing it merely with a requirement for care. Vance said this to Walz: "That is fundamentally barbaric." Walz denied the allegation, and Walz also signed a broad abortion law in January of 2023 that does not include any limitations on how late during her pregnancy a mother may end the life of her unborn baby. In other news, a former high school teacher was fired for not using the pronouns of a transgender student, and this has reached a settlement with a Virginia school board for $575,000, according to the advocacy group that filed a lawsuit on his behalf. Peter Vlaming sued the school board and administrators at the school he was fired from in 2018. A judge dismissed the lawsuit before any evidence was reviewed, but the state Supreme Court reinstated it in December. Vlaming, who was represented by Alliance Defending Freedom, a conservative Christian legal advocacy group, was fired after refusing to use a transgender student's preferred pronouns. He claimed in his lawsuit that he tried to accommodate the student in his class by using his name, but avoided the use of pronouns. The student, his parents, and the school told him he was required to use the student's male pronouns. Vlaming said he could not use the student's pronouns because of his sincerely held religious and philosophical beliefs that each person's sex is biologically fixed and cannot be changed. Vlaming claimed that his right to freely exercise his religion was violated under the Virginia Constitution. And then today, October 2nd, we celebrate the Feast of the Guardian Angels. A feast day in honor of the guardian angels was first observed in the 16th century. Their role is to represent individuals before God, to watch over them always, to aid their prayer, and to present their souls to God at death. In 1615, Pope Paul V added it to the Roman calendar. Guardian angels, pray for us. And those are your daily good news headlines. This is Catholics for Catholics. May God bless you, and may God bless the USA.